Hello, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about 5 games that we got rid of, it we traded away, or we sold, or we didn't like enough to keep. And obviously, as you can see, we don't like getting rid of games here at Board Games 4K, so this is a bit of a tough choice for us. I mean, so we're gonna talk about 5 games that we traded away, and we don't like getting rid of games here. Obviously, if your favourite cube pusher or Ameritrash game or Euro game is on this list and you disagree and it's your favourite game and you hate us for telling you that it's a load of crap, then please don't get mad. If you disagree, have a civil discussion down in the comments and don't lash out, okay? Because it don't matter right at the end of the day. What we're going to do here, we're going to go through in order the game that we were more frivolous with when we got rid of it, and the game that we absolutely detested. So we're going to go through the list. We're not going to tell you what we do like, because we didn't like anything, but we will tell you what we don't like about these games, and then we'll come back and then you can let loose in the comments and hang me out to dry. So if you're new here, then please consider hitting the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and we'll be back after this. Board Games 4K. So the first game on this list is actually, is it cheating? It's actually 2 games, but they're roughly the same game. So it's Imperial Assault and Descent, whatever it's called, into the, I don't know what it's called, Descent. I could hear the screams of dismay in this one, but the reason that we got rid of this one is because, first and foremost, we got Imperial Assault first, and we tried to start the campaign, and it was very, very difficult to get the same players back into the same room at the same time and progress through the campaign. We didn't like the fact that at the end of the day, you know, you start a game, you play one of the scenarios, and then the next week you're trying to get the same people round and they can't make it, and then you have to play something else, and by the time you actually get the same people around, it's all forgotten. It's down on the bottom shelf somewhere, tucked away somewhere. Yeah, it was impossible to get this to the table as much as we liked. And you know, to be honest with you, I'm not a big Star Wars fan. You know, this was sort of hyped up. I thought, wow, this is the Star Wars game we're looking for. But it turned out to be just a random dice fest. You know, it was the campaign didn't make sense. It wasn't epic enough. The characters that were involved, they were just these made up nobodies from the Star Wars universe embarking on these supposedly epic quests, and it didn't make any sense to me. You know, you had these sort of characters that didn't have any background. In order to get over that, they wanted you to buy extra character packs at like £10 a pop, and I was like, no, not having that. So we made the difficult decision to get rid of that one, and we bought Descent hoping that it was going to be sort of different with the fantasy theme, and it was just the same kind of thing. You know, again, just sort of generic characters. Descent was even less epic, in my opinion. I know you might disagree with that one, but the maps were tiny, you know, and we had claustrophobia, so it was better to play that one than this one. And we just can't get these sort of campaign-based games to the table. I mean, we've had Mice and Mystics sat over there for God knows since it was released, and I don't think we've done the first campaign, but I'm waiting for my kids to grow up so we can. That's why I've kept that one. But yeah, Descent, Imperial Assault, it's gone. So the second game that we have expunged from our collection it's a war game. It's an area control game called Cry Havoc, and yeah, again, I can hear you screaming at me through the TV set saying, well, it's one of the greatest games ever made. Well, in my opinion, it's not. It's crap. Because, and I'll tell you why it's crap, because we played it numerous occasions, and every time the humans are overpowered, they win. I mean, I know I've heard the arguments for people saying that, you know, that gives you the impetus to sort of experiment and try strategies with other factions, but in my opinion, that's all it is, just my opinion, is the humans are vastly overpowered, and we were hoping that the expansion, the Aftermath expansion, was going to fix that problem, but it didn't. It just gave more stuff. And one of the things that really irked me, that sort of tipped me over the edge to get rid of this one, is that I contacted the designer, and I asked him, I said, look, is the game unbalanced? Are the humans overpowered? And the bloke went into meltdown. He started losing his rag. I said, whoa, it's not personal. And he started saying stuff like, well, it's my game, I created this game, of course I'm going to take it personally. And I can understand that, but we weren't rude. We just asking him for his opinion on whether or not, with since the games have been released, have other people said that the game's unbalanced? And they have, I know they have. His reaction, he went mental. And I thought, well, if that's the reaction we're going to get, then this one, we just binned it. We just chucked it in the bin. We didn't even flog it. We didn't sell it or nothing. So that's Cry Havoc. I mean, it's a painful experience, that one, but we really wanted to like it, but we just thought, well, if there's no point in playing it if the humans are always going to win, and that's that. So yeah, that's another one that has quite sadly left our collection. It's been expelled from school. So the third game that we have got rid of, and again, this might be a bit of a polarising statement, but it's Wingspan, and one of the reasons we got rid of it is that we were curious as to why this game had garnered such a huge amount of hype over the last few months. So we picked it up and we played it. We've done a playthrough of this one and we've done a review of this one, so if you want to have a look at that, you just go back into the playlists and get nosy in that. But yeah, the reason we flogged this one is because when we opened it up, we were like, wow, look at the bird tower, the dice tower, look at the nice tray, look at the little eggs and everything. And when we played it, it was like all that stuff that they crammed into the box didn't mean anything. At the end of the day, at its heart, it was a very basic and light card game. I mean, this game could have been condensed down into a pack of cards. One of the things I realised about this game is like, it's just a very fancy card game with loads of fluff. And the second thing it made me realise is that I've got no interest in bird watching or birds in general. And what I found myself doing when I played this is that the bird theme that disappeared. It evaporated into the air, and all I found myself doing was just stat busting, looking at the stats, and it was almost as if I could have just gone down a paper shop and just picked up a bird watching top trumps, and I was just looking for stats, and I was, to this day, I can't even think about what birds were in the game, and it was style over substance. It was loads of fluff stuck in the box to make a very basic card game look like a fully fleshed out board game. And I thought, no, we ain't gonna play this again. So yeah, we dumped it and it's gone. We flogged it, and yeah, it flew away into the clouds to join its feathered brethren. Wingspan, on your bike, son. So the second, worst game. It's not. These aren't games that we did. These aren't sort of the worst games ever made. You know, these are just games that we've got rid of, that we have left our collection, and that's a rarity, like we said. The next one that's left our collection is the Seventh Continent, and I mean, as you may or may not know, I'm a massive fan of these fighting fantasy game books. We've done a 17-part series detailing, like, the chronicling the history and everything game book related that we could get our hands on. And so this was a massive thing for me when they said that they were going to be making sort of a game book in a box. I was straight on it. I was straight on a Kickstarter. It was delayed, so we were sort of salivating for it to turn up. And when it turned up, it was meant to be a multiplayer game, but it really wasn't. It wasn't a multiplayer game. So I found myself sitting at the table trying to work my way through this game, and it was great to start with. You're like, wow, this is amazing. Once you get your head around all these weird icons and that, as you progress into the game, the story that they obviously, I think they've worked really hard on the beginning of the story, but then the story just disappears, and you're just wandering around picking up bits and pieces. And that's another thing that really annoyed me about this one, is that the equipment system is the timer. So you'll be choosing to keep stuff or pull cards out of the deck. You might want to discard extra cards so you can take more actions and do extra stuff, but the card that you discarded is an item that you would need later on to do something, and it's just, no, it's just, I found this game to be way overhyped, way overproduced, and at the end of the day, why would I want to mess about, faffing about with all these cards all over this table and saving the game, putting it up, tearing it down, trying to remember what happened previously, when I could just pick up one of these Fighting Fantasy game books and just spend an hour and a half reading one of them, because that's essentially what it is. It's a load of paragraphs that could have been put into a book, but sort of spread out into this big massive box, and I just couldn't be bothered with it. It's just like, it was way over, again, another victim of massive hype, and it's still garnering massive hype today. I know it's beloved, some people love this sort of stuff, and I thought I would too, but it promised too much, and I suppose in my own, I was a victim of my own expectations. I was hoping it was going to be a hark back to those sort of heady days of the Ian Livingstone, Steve Jackson Fighting Fantasy books, and it wasn't. It was just didn't work for me, and yeah, we flogged it, and we, stupidly enough, we backed the expansion, and when that turns up, we ain't gonna have a game to play it with, so that'll be going as well. So yeah, 7th continent, 7th incontinent. So I mean, this one, I know the people love this game, this next game, and I had no hesitation in dumping this one. You know, no pun intended, as you'll see. Yeah, I had no hesitation whatsoever in getting rid of this one. And we worked out, when we got this was out of print, so we paid quite a bit of money for this one, and it's Dominant Species, and I hate this game. I hate it. We call it Dominant Feces because it's awful. It's a headache. You know, it tries to make you think that it's like this sort of really complex Euro, but really it's a war game, really, with these sort of cones on these hexes. One of the main aspects of this game is that you've got to establish who's dominant on each hex, and we found ourselves really struggling. I mean, maybe we're just thick or whatever, but we found ourselves struggling to establish that. So you count these cones, and you try and work out the dominance, but then when you count the next hex next to it, that may affect the dominance that you've already. And we found, oh my god, we tried putting cubes out to sort of say which hex was dominant, and then you go around and you've got to do that multiple times. So I started off with this little headache right here, and by the end of we didn't even finish the game. By the end of the 4th round, my head exploded. You know, like Scanners, yeah, that David Cronenberg movie. That happened to me. That's what this game done to me. It made my head explode, and we stopped the game and said, that's enough. We're not ever playing this again. Everyone was unanimous. There was this unanimous sigh of relief. You could hear the relief in the room, and yeah, we tossed it out the window like Hawaii style, and never to be seen again. So that's Dominant Feces, the worst game that we've had to get rid of because we just didn't like it. And if it's your favourite game, A, I feel sorry for you, and B, don't worry about it, because it's a personal thing, it's a subjective thing. That's the good thing about these board games, isn't it? Is that different people like different things. So you know, if you're sitting there getting angry, don't get angry, calm down. You know, just sit there, assume the lotus position, and go and watch another one of our videos. So yeah, like we said, that's our 5 games that we have left our collection. I think we've only got rid of 6 games. I think the other one was Mansions of Madness that we got rid of for the same reasons as Descents. That's why we didn't mention it. But yeah, it's very rare that we get rid of games there. And yeah, that is our 5 games that have left our collection ever. So if you're new here, again, if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more of this stuff, then please consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a comment in the section below, and we'll see you next time.